I mean, no one's gonna eat your eyes.
Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here, and I'm about to go see another movie right now. In fact, I'm going to go see World War Z with Brad Pitt. Well, I'm not going to be seeing it with Brad Pitt, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I think before I talk about that, I'll talk about this, which is, this is how I'm going to be doing my movie reviews, at least my impromptu vlog movie reviews for like the big name summer movies. I'm going to set up the camera beforehand, talk into it briefly, very briefly, and kind of explain my expectations and what I'm hoping the movie will be. And then you'll see me right after the movie, and you'll get an idea if my soul has been completely and utterly crushed, or if I'm just on cloud nine because it was a totally awesome movie. We'll see. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to be seeing World War Z with Brad Pitt, and before I go into that, do I want to talk? No, you know what? I'll wait until after the movie to talk about this, because this movie is based off a book I read actually about 2 years ago. So I'm in this unique situation because most movies that are based off of books I haven't read. Lord of the Rings so far is like the one exception. I read that when I was a lot younger, well, long before the movies came out, and I read this book before the movie came out. So I'll talk about the book when I come back because it's written in a very, very specific style, very unique, and it works really well for the book. And I'm wondering how that's going to translate over into the movie. So I'm going to go see this movie now, and if you don't know, it's a zombie movie. It's a zombie apocalypse movie, and I'll tell you more when I get back. Okay? Okay, so I just got back from seeing World War Z, and let me ask you this. Do you want to go see a zombie movie that has more to focus on the people and kind of the drive of the human spirit and investigation? Do you want to see a movie where they figure that a lot like the movie Outbreak, but instead of a deadly disease that just kills you outright, it turns you into a zombie? Then go see this movie. If you want to see what I thought was pretty smart, pretty well done, it did not, a movie that constantly is moving, it never lags, it never slows down, go see this movie. At the same time, if you want to go see a movie that doesn't mind jumping around, but not randomly so, go see this movie. This movie, as I said before, is based off a book, and I'm going to briefly kind of explain how the book is done before I talk more about the movie, because as for somebody who read the book, like I read the book going into this movie, I don't know if that put me at a disadvantage as opposed to people who are just seeing the movie. You know, they didn't read the book, they don't really know what the story is about, they just know it's about zombies. And they're going into this movie basically blind, other than the fact that it's about zombies. Now, briefly, the book is a culmination of accounts. The main character in the book is actually a reporter, and he's never actually part of the story. He is actually going all around the world, interviewing people who were around at pivotal points during the Great Zombie War, during World War Z. So, spoilers for the book, and this isn't even spoilers. You learn this literally during the prologue of the book. You learn this right away, that this book is, all these accounts take place after the zombie war. We've won. We've taken back planet Earth, we've beat back the zombies, and these are just, after the fact accounts. After any disaster, then the stories come out after the disaster has taken place. So that's how the book is, and it's really well done. I really recommend that book to anybody. It's well done, and you get a full picture of everything that happens all around the planet, because the people that the main character is interviewing, this guy might be in China, this guy might be in India, this guy might be in Jerusalem, this guy might be in Great Britain, different parts of America. Like they interview a guy who was in LA when something happened, a woman who was like a paratrooper who crash landed in Louisiana. So you get this full picture of everything that happens during the war. So you understand the full scale of the war. You're not just seeing it from someone's one perspective. And I was wondering how they were going to do that, because in this movie it is all done from the perspective of Brad Pitt. Now, I thought it was well done. Again, I'm also judged. It's hard for me to not judge it based on the book, because I have that knowledge. And so I'm in the kind of predicament where I already know the story, I've read the book, so I already go in with an expectation of the movie, knowing how the story goes and which way it flows. Like, I really do kind of envy the people that don't know anything going into this movie, because I think they might have liked it better than me. Now, for the record, I liked it. I'm going to buy it on DVD or Blu-ray. I recommend that you go see this, especially if you like zombie movies, and especially if you like smart zombie movies, because oftentimes you watch zombie movies where the main characters, like Resident Evil, not a great zombie movie, or like Dawn of the Dead, where they're not really doing anything other than trying to stay alive, which is in itself, it's suspenseful enough, and it's entertaining enough, and those are good movies, like the Dawn of the Dead movies, but the story isn't going anywhere, if you know what I mean. This movie has an actual direction where the story goes. So, Brad Pitt plays an operative who formerly worked for the UN, and, shit hits the fan, and they jump right into the action, by the way. They do not wait more than like 2 minutes before jumping right into the action. And I don't really, this is like the one thing I did have a problem with, that everything breaks out in the United States literally in 10 minutes. Everywhere in America, suddenly there's zombies, and entire cities fall in 10 minutes. So that's the one thing I had a problem with, and it really is just the one thing I had a problem with. But anyway, so he plays this operative, and he is tasked by not his boss at the UN, because he got out of that, but they bring him back, they call him back in, they bring him back, and they say, like, we need you to do this, because there's no one better than you. We need you to go out and find patient zero. We need you to find out where this started, and this way we can, study the patient zero and develop a vaccine, based off of what we find. So this is where the movie actually kind of cherry picks and chooses and kind of mix and matches the different stories in the book. Like I said, there's like 26 or 30 different accounts in the book about what overall happens during the war. In this case, Brad Pitt basically plays the main character in each one of those stories. He's playing the first person in those stories, or he plays like a second person in those first person stories. So they're picking and choosing and mixing and matching, which I thought they could have done worse. They could have done plenty worse. Like, I applaud this movie, like I said, for not trying to put everything into it. Too many movies based off of TV shows or even other books, they try to fit too much into a movie, and they just ruin it, because you gotta pick and choose. You can't fit everything from a book into a movie. It's just impossible. So Brad Pitt goes to each of these places, and I thought it was really cool how he kind of connects dots. And he's like an investigator, he's a detective, he's trying to find this stuff out, and you're getting these stories. He runs into these people, and you get these stories, these first-hand accounts, because he is running into these people, and you are getting these first-hand accounts. So you're getting these interviews without actually them being interviews. He's just showing up at locations and saying, hey, what happened, and they explain everything. But the way they do it different than exposition. They explain it in dialogue, not exposition, and I'm glad they did that too, because too many times a movie gets ruined. Like, if you've seen my Superman review, you know how much I got pissed off because every word out of Jor-El's mouth is just exposition. But anyway, I will say this about the movie though, and I don't know if this was something about, I don't know if this if this was colored by my opinion was colored by the fact that I had read the book, but I wasn't satisfied with the ending. Honestly, I left there wondering, like, is there a part 2 to this? Because the way the movie ends is, and I'm not going to, well, do I want to spoil this? No, I'm not going to spoil this. I'm not going to spoil how the movie ends, per se. Or, like, the events right before the ending. But basically this is Brad Pitt discovers something which turns the tide, and it's implied, you know, at the end of the movie, we're still fighting back, but we have a secret weapon. We have a thing that gives us an edge over the zombies. But we don't actually see humanity rise over the zombies. It's completely implied, like, we have a secret weapon, so eventually it's going to happen. Kind of like at the end of Terminator 2 and Terminator 3, where you never see humanity triumph over the machines, but it's constantly implied in both those movies that John Connor does win against the machines. He beats them, but you never actually see it. And that's kind of how this movie ends. And so I was left a little unsatisfied, but overall, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was well written. It was well acted. And honestly, the flow of the story, it never, like, it was constantly moving. It never lagged. And honestly, it felt shorter than it was. Like, this is an hour and 40-minute movie. I think it's an hour and 40 minutes. No, it's a little bit longer than that. But it didn't feel like a 2-hour movie. So I was kind of surprised when the ending came, because I'm like, is that really it? Wow, it has been that long, but it didn't feel like it. So that was good. Also, they did a lot to keep the suspense up, which in a zombie movie, I don't know if that's hard to do. Also, I'm glad that they didn't overdo the jump scares. There was like 2 jump scares that I can think of. 2 or 3. I think it was just 2. But this movie is a trap for editors and for directors, that they leave it open too much for jump scares, or too many. They rely too much on the jump scare. I mean, you know you're going to have them in this type of movie, where around every corner something jumps out at you. But they didn't overdo it. Like I said, it was 2 or 3 times that they did it, so they didn't do it every 3 seconds, because at some point, the jump scare, it's an I gotcha. It doesn't really scare you, it just surprises you. And that's not the same as scaring. Jump scares are good if you don't overdo it. If you do it more than 4 times in a movie, then the audience gets pissed at you. And they get nervous, and they even get a little bit of paranoia, because they're like, I don't want to watch this because I know something's just going to jump out at me and my heart's going to jump out of my chest. So I was glad that they didn't overuse the jump scare. Like I said, and it would be easy to use in a zombie movie. Let's see, the jump scare, the thing about the... Yeah. I wrote some notes down, but like, this isn't not as intensive as Man of Steel, so I'm able to go over everything, and like, really, that's kind of it. If you're looking for a smart zombie movie, go see this movie. If you want to watch a movie that's, honestly, it's not even about the zombies. It's about the people and how they're working together with each other, and how, like, the human spirit rises above it all. Like, this is one of those human spirit stories where even when we're facing the zombie apocalypse, we've still got it in us to fight back, and we can figure this out, and we will beat this. So it's a feel-good story, I think. I mean, 5 billion people die in it, but it's a feel-good story. So if you want to go see a movie about zombies where, honestly, I thought it was a happy-ish ending. It's about as happy as you can get with a zombie movie. Let's put it that way. This is about as happy as you can get. This is the closest thing to a happy ending that you can get with a zombie movie. People do survive. Some people die, and the people that die, you feel bad that they die. You're actually sorry that they die. And again, that's not easy to do. There's so many things in this movie that I think they were able to pull off that isn't always that easy to pull off in a zombie movie. Oftentimes in zombie movies, people get eaten and you only knew them for about 2 minutes, so you don't care that they died. You're like, oh no, not another. You're more concerned about the fact that they're about to become a zombie than the fact that that's a human being that just died. So this movie did a really good job in creating connections with people. Some people might say that they spent too much time with Brad Pitt and his family, but they were building up that connection with the audience, and you felt for these people. So when things happened to them, you wanted them to pull through. You wanted them to survive, and that right there actually is something that for the last like 10 or 20 years in horror movies, they've done this thing where you're not rooting for the people. Not that you don't want them to survive, it's just that perfect example is Final Destination. You're rooting for death in those movies because you want to see people get killed in these weird Rube Goldberg kind of ways. You shouldn't be rooting for death. You shouldn't be hoping that these people die. You should be rooting that these people are going to survive. You want the people to survive. You should want the people to survive. But they've been doing it wrong for so many movies for the last like 10 to 20 years. They did it right in this movie. They finally got it back on track. In my opinion, they finally figured it out, and you're rooting for the humans. You want them to survive. There's no dickbag humans in this movie. I mean, there's a few, guys with rough edges, but they're just trying to survive. But there's nobody that you're rooting for to die. There's nobody that you're like, I hope he gets eaten by a zombie. There's nobody. And that's so different in, like, horror movies these days. Like, there's always one guy that you're like, God, I hope the serial killer gets him. I hope the monster gets him. I hope he becomes a zombie and then we shoot him in the face. Didn't happen in this movie, so that was a pleasant change, I'll be honest. Yeah, so I guess I could probably go over a few other things, but really I've said everything that I think needs to be said about this movie. At this point, I'm just kind of getting into the minutia and how the story of the book and the movie are similar or different. If you haven't read the book, it's not going to affect how you think about this movie. I think some people who read the book might not be happy with this movie. And again, the movie doesn't focus on the zombies. The zombies are more of a plot point in this movie. They're not the focus. They're always a focus because they're people trying to survive the zombie apocalypse and fight back. But it's not, again, it's a plot device. You're seeing the lives of these people, how they survive, and the ingenuity that they use and they develop, and like the quick thinking, and just everything is focused on Brad Pitt. He's the main character, and the people around him. Again, the zombies are there, but they're just periphery. They're a plot device. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling at this point, but that's what I think about this movie. I think it's a good movie. Go see this movie. On another note, I've got another episode of Life with Ponies coming out this weekend, and I have my first movie review in, eons coming out as well. So look forward to that. Look forward to more I Heard That Movie Sucks reviews. Look forward to more of these vlogs, and look forward to more episodes of Life with Ponies. As always, please subscribe, and laters.